Well, this is Jared with Stampede Blue, and this is your Indianapolis Colts post-game wrap. And the Colts lost today on the road in New England. Final score was 38-24, in what was basically just a comedy of errors. In typical fashion, the Colts lost the coin toss, deferred to the second half, and should have conceded on the spot. Instead, New England drove the length of the field, and Cordell Patterson caught a 2-yard touchdown pass on an illegal pick play. If anybody had any questions about whether or not Andrew Luck is back or not, consider that he's 78 for 121 and 829 yards and 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and has been sacked twice in the last 2 games. So in case you were wondering, yeah, he's good. He's good. But he doesn't have any weapons, at least he didn't tonight. Obviously, being without guys like Marlon Mack and T.Y. Hilton aren't real good for starters. And again, starting another game without Anthony Costanzo has to kind of sting a little bit. And one of the things I wanted to point out tonight is if you go back and watch the game a little bit, Andrew Luck's getting a little more comfortable with this offense and being able to settle down into the pocket more and deliver a strike. And he did that several times tonight where I was like, oh man, the pocket's collapsing, but he just gets the ball out in time and throws a really accurate, hard to stop football. And those are the same kind of footballs that Tom Brady throws a lot. Again, there was some pretty typical homerism readily available in this game. And I know a lot of people are going to what about any plays going the other way for the Colts, and I get that, and that's part of this. But it really just felt like after the first quarter and a half, like not only were the Colts getting run over by the Patriots, but the referees kind of were 12th and 13th man. And there were 4 or 5 calls in the first half. There was even a hold at the point of collision. The guy's being held, trying to make a tackle for the Colts defense, and they don't call anything. The guy breaks the tackle and breaks off a big play because he's being held through a tackle. So he's still trying to make the tackle even though he's being held, and they don't make a call, and it's right there at the point of attack. The line judge had to see that, right? But they don't call that. Not New England. So yeah, the Colts were really banged up. And over the course of the game, the Colts lost Anthony Walker Jr. to concussion. They lost Clayton Geathers to what was initially diagnosed as a concussion, turned out to be a neck injury. And we certainly hope that he's going to be okay because Clayton Geathers had a neck injury last year and missed a bunch of time. So, of course, if he gets hurt again and it's his neck, and man, you just kind of hope. Leading tacklers for tonight were Clayton Geathers for the Colts, or not Clayton Geathers, Malik Hooker had 12 tackles, 7 solo. The Colts weren't really able to generate much of a pass rush. Tom Brady was 34 for 44, threw for only like 340 yards, no big deal, and had 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And Andrew Luck, had 11 incompletions today. And I know a lot of people initially were going to say Eric Ebron is up to his usual self dropping balls. The guy had 1 drop and otherwise had 8 catches for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. And technically Andrew Luck threw 4 touchdowns, right? Because the knee down on the half-yard line, like whatever, is a touchdown, right? I mean, it's not a touchdown, but still, if you think about this, the Colts gave up 17 points on turnovers and lost by 14. If you don't turn the ball over, not only do you score more points, but they don't get those points most of the time. Understand that if the drive starts inside the 25, a team has less than a 25% chance of scoring. Most of the time, drives that start at like the 40 or better have like a 50 or more percent chance of scoring. Why? Because you only have to get like 2 or 3 first downs before you're in field goal range. But again, this first half was just a comedy of errors. There was just not able to cover, aren't many people able to cover Gronk, but weren't able to cover Gronk. We had a gang tackle in the whole game, and then Julian Edelman just kind of did his thing. I kind of thought with Danny Amendola leaving that Tom Brady would be without some weapons, but the Colts can't cover any athlete. Any spry player, without Nate Hairston, without Kenny Moore, without Quincy Wilson, The Colts didn't have the cornerbacks to play tonight, and it showed. I will say there were just a lot of bad plays on the Colts defense, like miscues in the secondary led to the Josh Gordon touchdown. Again, probably miscommunication on the first touchdown of the game. When Sony Michel lowered his helmet and became a projectile and knocked Clayton Geathers out, I would have been losing my mind. They call it on offensive players. Andrew Luck's sack, for example, both players landed on top of Andrew Luck. How is that not the same kind of penalty, if even not a more egregious penalty, than what happened with Aaron Rodgers? And it wasn't called. Thank goodness that Andrew Luck was only sacked once today, right? Could have been really bad for him. But other than that, after the initial just flurry of blunders, the Colts came along. The offense came alive. Andrew Luck was dropping dimes. But if I remember correctly, today he had 7 drops. He only had 11 incompletions. That's crazy, man. And it's evident that Andrew Luck is like super talented, and he's got a bunch of undrafted free agents that we're hoping pan out. You know, one of the things I want to point out, and you can go look this up. Guess who has the highest catch rate of all Colts players? Ryan Grant. Well, at the start of the season, people were like, why Ryan Grant? Ryan Grant is a reliable receiver. He's not a game breaker, but he's able to catch balls in tight gaps, and he doesn't drop balls that hit him in the hands. So a lot of people are going to poo-poo Eric Ebron. A lot of people are going to be upset with Jordan Wilkins for that fumble. Man, McCourty had the Colts offense's number all night. He knew that the skill players were the point of attack, right? And they got 2 turnovers, right, off Pascal and Wilkins. Those are, 5th round draft pick, undrafted free agent skill players. And I'm not saying that those guys have ball security problems. I'm saying that if you're gonna get a turnover, it's gonna be off of one of those guys. But that said, guys like Nyheim Hines had 1 million catches. Guys, like I said, I keep hitting Eric Ebron up, but like Chester Rogers had 8 catches for 80 yards. Swope came in off the practice squad this week and had what effectually amounts to 2 touchdowns. Right? I keep saying it was a touchdown, but it's close enough, right? Within a half a yard. But yeah, obviously it's upsetting to be a Colts fan and to be 1-4 when really, if you just limit mental mistakes and limit turnovers, you are 4-1 right now. Maybe Cincinnati is good, and of course, like New England's New England, Tom Brady's Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick's Bill Belichick, and Julian Edelman is Julian Edelman, and Gronk is Gronk. Josh Gordon caught a touchdown today on a gimme ball by Tom Brady late in the game on a miscommunication by the safety in the corner. Now, like I said, the Colts were without their starting corners, so it was down to Pipkins, and I want Pierre Desir to be good, but he's not a number 1 corner. And when you're out your nickel and Hairston, there's nobody to cover Edelman, and then you're without Leonard, who could potentially give at least stop Sony Michel carrying it 18 times for 100 yards, 98 yards I think, and a touchdown. Got ate up by running backs out of the backfield, and I know that those are their weapons of choice, but still, just the Colts' first half was abysmal. That's 2 weeks in a row the Colts have been down by double digits and tried to claw back. And it shows you how good Andrew Luck is when the Colts get into like a hurry-up offense, when they just have to get up and go. You have to score now. They're like laser-like efficient. But when you get down into the red or green zone, basically inside the 40, and you don't convert those into touchdowns, and you're having to take field goal attempts, when they're just running the ball down your throat and scoring touchdowns, you're going to lose those games. So like I said, the Colts lost this game more than the Patriots won it, right? Tom Brady did enough right? I would argue they put 28 points on the board, right, on offense. Well, if the Colts don't, if Pascal doesn't give up that interception, right, the ball off his hands that like he caught and it was should have been like a fumble, and then Wilkins with the fumble, and if those things don't happen, those points aren't there. Maybe that's only 10 points instead. And so, like I said, I know that as a Colts fan, you're starting to roll your eyes like, come on, man. Every single game for the last 20 games, 21 games, I've been saying the same thing. If you can run the ball efficiently, which the Colts did a little better at tonight for the record, averaged 4 yards a carry. If you can run the ball efficiently, if you can pass the ball and convert third downs, which the Colts have done really good at for the record this year. I believe they're best in the NFL on third down conversions. They didn't start off very hot tonight. They certainly finished hot, and had 3 scoring drives in the last like quarter and a half. I mean, the Colts are really, really right there when you really think about it. Coming back from 21-3, if you just take away 14 points from them, we got a tie ball game. This is closer than it looks. And the Colts go into a long rest, so we'll have like 10 days off now, and hopefully they can get a lot of weapons back, man. And if those guys can stay healthy and play together for a full, glut of games, and we can just get healthier as a squad, the sky's the limit. And I know it don't look like that right now. A lot of people are saying, man, you're 1-4. You're higher likelihood of being, 5-10, 5-11 than 11-5, right? Well, this is where it starts right here. Taking your lumps, certainly losing to some good football teams so far, right? If you look at who the Colts have lost to, they lost to the defending national champions on the road. They lost to the defending runner-up, not national champions, world champions, Super Bowl winners. They lost to them. They lost to Houston, right? The division winner last year, right? No, Jacksonville was. So Houston, right? Maybe we shouldn't have lost that game. And then, but like the Cincinnati loss, I think more people were surprised by the loss of Cincinnati than they were at the victory at Washington. And there are different reasons why we lost the Cincinnati game on 2 plays. You won the Washington game because we were healthy on defense and basically really effective all day. We had a pass rush. We defended the pass. We looked good in coverage, and then, like last week, we just weren't able to cover, and that's where the weakness at cornerback really kind of showed. So, again, tonight coming into the game, the Colts were without starting corners. Darius Leonard was out. The leading tackler in the NFL, leads all rookies in sacks. Defensive Player of the Month doesn't play on Thursday night. T.Y. Hilton, Andrew Luck's favorite target, doesn't play. And then Marlon Mack is yet to suit up, really, and do any damage. We could really use him back. We got another 10. Like I said, we got 10 days off. Sky's the limit. Anything can happen. They can turn this around for sure. So yeah, this is Jared with Stampede Blue. This has been your Indianapolis Colts post game wrap, and we'll see you next week.